the sticking point for most business owners. They're like, yeah, I understand AI to an extent, but I don't know how to plug it into my business.
AI, if used right, will give people with 100 IQs, they'll become 140 if they use it right. People with 140, which is genius, will be 200s.
I get so much clarity so much faster because the feedback loop is quick.
What's funny to me on AI is it leaves meat on the bone. When you say, hey, you're a Wall Street investment banker for 30 years or whatever, and I'll just go to it. Come on, you can go way deeper than that. Go better.
If you don't know how to use AI, ask AI to teach you how to use it.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, it's just a resource, and there's just no excuse of why you shouldn't be using it.
My VAs are like, Sheila, this is not Kevin. Text him. She really believes it because it sounds just like me.
You know it's effective when your mama's responding back to it.
I'm talking to it.
America's backbone was built on blue-collar business grit, grind, and muscle. This is where you stop working for the business, and the business starts working for you.
Blue Collar Millionaires, Chris and I back. We're going to talk to one of a lot of your favorite subjects, AI in your business, how to use it. So many people use it. It's so surface level. They're using it like a Google. That's fine. But how are we using it to make money and save tons of times and then leverage our employees and our VAs and everything to use it as well?
I talk to it every single day. I use ChatGPT. I use Manus AI. There's a free webinar that came across my feed on Facebook. So I hopped into it and spent the first day a ton of hours, just let it play in the background while I was doing other work on the computer. Picked up a lot of great little sites like Lovable. You can sit there and you can build apps and websites, and by talking to it in plain English, browser-use.com, I believe is what it was, where you can screen record and then it'll produce an API, and you just screen record you going into the different applications that you do so that they can talk to each other. I haven't had a chance to explore that one very much, but just understanding how you can utilize it in your business is the sticking point for most business owners. They're like, yeah, I understand AI to an extent, but I don't know how to plug it into my business. So we're going to talk about some practical ways of doing it. And one way is understanding exactly what your ChatGPT system is. You do need to have a paid version of it. It's $20 a month is what I'm paying, and I'm assuming that's the same price still. But you can go in there and create your projects. So like I've got a marketing project, I've got a business coach project, I've got a sales project, I've got each division of my services in the company I'm operating in on a day-to-day. So I've got roofing, crawl space, mold, water. And those projects, I sit there and say, I want you to, let's say it's the business coach, or let's use the marketing. On the marketing, I'll sit there and I'll say, look, I want you to communicate and think on the lines of Alex Hormozy and Gary Vaynerchuk. And so I throw out these big names that have a ton of influence already online because it can pull from their resources, and then it can help me sit there and brainstorm. And that's my board of advisors. That's what I go to and start whiteboarding with. So I just hop in there, start talking to it through the voice chat or typing on the keyboard. And then I get so much clarity so much faster because the feedback loop is quick going to them instead of waiting for a call with someone, trying to get on their calendar. And then it's only me and that one person maybe sitting there brainstorming, where ChatGPT has this endless amount of resource. So that's how you can use the project side of thing. But what I've recently understood is you can create your custom GPTs. So if you go into settings, there's a create a GPT setting, and you go in there and you feed it the information. What I'm currently doing is I'm training that custom GPT so that I can deploy it to wherever I need to put it in my business. So let's say customer service. I have a customer that calls in asking frequently asked questions, maybe a customer complaint. I can sit there and teach it how I would want it to respond, and then I can feed it these complaints and watch the feedback loop. The feedback is responding in the manner, the character, the tonality, and all that I want. Now I don't have to be worried about whatever person in my organization is going to miss the feel and the beat that we want our customers to feel when they have a question or when they're upset about a mistake we've made. So the custom GPTs end up being intellectual property. They're like resources for your company, because now you can deploy it to anyone. You don't have this training process that you have to worry about every time you add a new person or have to get rid of someone. So I'm watching how this AI is really starting to transform businesses. And this is how I'm starting to utilize it. I haven't done this yet, but I'm going to look into more because I do know there's like a team platform where you can let your whole organization use it. But if that's not the play, then I'm just going to pay for everybody's $20 subscription because I want everybody in my organization to be getting very familiar with AI. ChatGPT just is the most commonly used one and easiest used. That's why I'm going to go that route for the team. And then I'm going to share that link to the custom GPT. We're going to build out in each department a custom GPT so that they can use, that department can use. And I feel like that's going to change the enterprise value of the company as we start adding these, because now you got this intellectual property that's been customized specifically for your company to do the level of service that those customers. And I think this is going to fix a lot of that private equity issue. When they come in and routines start getting shook up, they'll have this technology they can lean on and predictability of outcomes from this technology.
That's great stuff. Let me tell you something I did so we can give practical thing and everything. So for years, I used to write all my template emails for my virtual assistants that was in my voice, sounded, and I had like 100 something of them. Every issue, you know, the first 20 are used all the time, and then there's lower ones, and we had this schedule. And I did them off. I love Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I used to literally read that or look at summaries and write my things, keep it thing, because I'm authentic with it, but he's nicer about it.
Yeah.
So I would use a lot of that. Now, what we did was we had all these different things. They go into ChatGPT. We took all our emails. So now we have a history of just hundreds of different things that have happened. Feed it into, Manus is even better than ChatGPT on this. You can feed it in one of those AIs. And then you can ask it based on this, how would Kevin answer this? Or how would Michael, my brother, even though he doesn't really think. So they do it like that because he has a little bit different tone than Kevin. A little nicer. And we do that and it's super. But somebody who doesn't have that could say, let me download that book that Kevin's talking about. That's How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's an awesome classic book. And then here, give me 30 of my emails and let me teach people how to do it. And it's gotten to the point, I think I was joking before. So my mom's been in my business forever. I've told her I'd do that. She doesn't really pay attention. She answers emails from me, like with whatever the issue is, because she's involved in the company. And then she'll talk about me coming into New Jersey. And then my VAs are like, Sheila, this is not Kevin. Text him. You know, like she really believes it because it sounds just like me.
You know it's effective when your mama's responding back to
talking to
it.
it. So it's just everybody should do that on their team. And I do it for different things. Like I even have another advantage because I write so many posts, so do you. So I don't take posts and then use AI to do posts. It wouldn't work. I want it to be who I am and I enjoy it. But I'll take my top 50 posts and we feed that into potentially other things, emails. You could do it with your SOPs and everything. So everybody should do that. And another one is you got to talk to ChatGPT or Manus or whatever you're using and get it to really know you. You can feed it numbers on your company if you want. But for me, I talk about who I am at 53, what type of investments I like, what I'm already doing, how much I'm making. I have a really low risk level. I would have had a higher one because at the point now after my exit, I mean, I don't have to do anything. I just have to not do dumb stuff. The last thing I want to do is loan somebody money at 25% interest. Why would I do that? So I like a 4-point arbitrage. That's what I'm always going for. It's very hard. So level 2 risk, 6 upside. I would say our windshield was level 4 risk, 8 upside. Right? If I see it, and Manus knows that and will say, that's a level 4 risk, level 6 upside, abort. You know, will tell me bluntly. And I already know that when I'm putting it in for the most part, but I agree. I'll just stay away from it. So maybe a younger guy can go level 8, 9 upside and level 6 risk if he wants to. It's whatever they want to do. So everybody's different. And then I feed also, we were talking about, I wrote a post about Charlie Munger. I love Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger. I love how they're very risk adverse, but they've had massive upside compounding. I have downloaded all my notes, Charlie's Almanac and everything, and we use that as part of my thing. So I stack all these people, Peter Drucker, who is incredible with operations. I've read his stuff. Dale Carnegie. I stack all these things in my decision making. So it's my board of advisors. This is such a better way than asking your buddy at the bar, your wife, maybe she's good at it, maybe she's not, or just sitting in your own mind, because that's what we did.
Yeah.
I remember having a decision and spending all day trying to work through it, and then you make the wrong one sometimes. Why not have some feedback that's custom for you?
Everything's so accelerated right now that I have a slight anxiety about it sometimes, because I'm like, it's moving so fast, and the anxiety is coming from I don't want to get left behind. So I literally try to look into AI minimum an hour every single day, because I guess I can't say I know for a fact, but I am very bullish on the fact that AI is going to be part of those resumes. Like, you've got to have an understanding of it moving forward when people are getting hired. We had heard it said, and we've mentioned this on the podcast before, AI is not going to take your position, but the people that understand how to use AI will be taking your position.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be so integrated. It would be the equivalent of not using a smartphone and using a payphone or a beeper, the equivalent of, not using the internet and only using a fax. Like, why would you have to take in this new information and technology and learn how to leverage and use it inside of your skill sets? And it is transforming every position in any business. Like, everybody's guessing, is it going to take away blue collar? Is it just taking white collar? And I can see it getting leveraged everywhere now, from the point to where you can just snap pictures when you're out on the job site, and it can give you diagnostic instructions on how to solve a problem. So no longer do you have to be an HVAC tech for years and getting that experience training in the field. You can sit there and problem solve like a veteran technician, and with the simple fact of being able to leverage the technology that's at hand.
That's the way of doing it too. Now with pictures, that's why I have my team doing that for like over a year. They're taking pictures from customers, throwing it into an AI thing with the questions we want, and then spitting out the answer of how I want it answered.
And this podcast right here is going to be so elementary on the use of AI, because, like I said, I'm trying to just spend an hour a day on it.
But here's another thing. Nelson, who's come to our things, he's a very bright guy. Me and him went out to dinner, and he had a thing. He says, I think that AI, if used right, will give people with, this is kind of, I like this. He says, people with 100 IQs, which is average, they'll become 140 if they used it right. People with 140, which is genius, will be 200s.
Yeah.
But he says the problem is, the 140 people are already figuring out ways to use it at 200, and the 100 people are using it to become 108.
Yeah.
Because they do things like, hey, write me a post.
Right.
Or they ask it really basic stuff. You really have to know yourself, and then say, hey, this is what I'm doing. How do I want to do this? Help me do it my way. So when you were asking about how to use it, I asked ChatGPT because it knows me so well. I was trying to figure out my key fob on my Mercedes. I don't want to watch a 4-minute YouTube video. I have no patience.
Right.
So I say, give it to me in a 20-second read so that I can do this. It does it, bumps it out, and I'm onto it. It knows how I move.
I sat there and had
I can't watch
I had a
4-minute
guy
video.
send me an NDA on a business day before yesterday, and I've been super busy, didn't want to take the time, and honestly, I would be foolish to take the time. I downloaded and uploaded inside of ChatGPT, and I said, read this and make sure that there's nothing that is going to hurt me in the future outside of not giving away any sensitive information in a bullet point manner. Let me know what this is saying, and so I don't put myself into a contractual situation that's going to hurt me in the future.
Yeah.
And it said, very standard, straightforward NDA, just saying that you can't give the information. And I felt very safe to not even read it at that point and just to go and sign and give it away. Because, there's so many different versions of NDAs and everything. And it was a few pages long. And I was just like, I'm not reading this. Let me let ChatGPT read this, or Manus AI. I mean, Manus has created me spreadsheets so that I can have visibility and accountability on performance inside of my company. But you have to sit there and talk to it. And that's the skill I believe that everybody should be practicing right now, is learning how to prompt. And that's literally just knowing how to ask it questions so that it gives you better feedback, because the better you learn how to prompt, the better the results and the feedback that you're going to get from it. So I always start out by telling what it's going to be. If I need financial information, I'm going to tell it that it is a world-renowned CFO. If I need it to give me something in marketing, I'm going to say it is a world-renowned marketer, direct marketing, referral marketing, affiliate marketing, whatever it is that I'm working on. And then I would sit there and tell it that I want it to do deep research, that I want it to give me the reference points of where it pulls its information so that I can make sure it's not feeding me junk, because it does still make mistakes.
Yeah.
And when you start getting very specific, here's what I've realized. I start speaking and communicating to humans more specifically and clear so that my feedback from them is better as well. It ends up teaching you how to communicate at a higher level as you're practicing with it, because you get instant feedback from it. You can see the answers aren't what you wanted, so you start trying to tweak how you're asking those questions to get what you're trying to receive. And that is teaching you a communication skill that most don't have. And that communication skill is going to be the difference between those that understand how to use AI and those that don't, because the ones practicing with ChatGPT right now and prompting it constantly is understanding a better way of communication so that it can get the results it wants.
Yeah. And switching gears on it, here's something I did for years. It worked really well. So we all have ideas. I used to write ideas down. Then I'd pick one on a Saturday. I would develop it into like a 2-page Word document. This is an hour of my time for sure. And then I would either work on it myself or decide to hand it to one of my team members who's interested in doing that. Now I'm literally taking those same ideas. I have an idea file in ChatGPT and Manus. Then I take it, I talk to it in ChatGPT, and I'm creating SOPs. I'm doing all these things in minutes and handing it to these people. Like, it's like ready to roll.
It's a time hack.
It's such a time hack. But here, we got this from Adam. This is a great one. So I like instant. Bunch of us, I have ADHD. I need instant. Manus takes a little longer. It goes much deeper. So I'll talk to ChatGPT about a thing, and then I'll go back and forth for 4 minutes. Now I got all these, it's like a mess, right? It's all these questions. I'll say PDF our entire conversation, and then give me a prompt for Manus to go much deeper on these things. And it will just give me, I'll download it, I'll feed it into Manus, and then Manus will get going on it for 10 minutes, and it goes way deeper than ChatGPT. What's funny to me on AI is it leaves meat on the bone. So when you say, hey, you're a Wall Street investment banker for 30 years, whatever, and I'll just go to it, come on, you can go way deeper than that. Go better. I say it to it all the time, and it gets better. All AIs I've seen have done that. I'll say, come on, man, go deeper.
Yeah.
You can do better than that. It will then this guy's for real. Because I gave him a level 8. I want that level 10 stuff.
You can customize your ChatGPT and teach it how to communicate to you. We had somebody in our Boardroom Elite group post, and I went in and customized mine, and I'm going to go in and tweak it some more. But for about a month, I would guess, I've had it customized, and I like the feedback. It's not as nice. It's more to the point. And because it's coming from a computer, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It
doesn't hurt.
So I like the very blunt feedback that I get, and I appreciate that. I listened to a podcast a few days ago that Dan Martell's a really good one to follow because he's very into AI right now, and he wrote Buy Back Your Time, and I implemented a lot out of that podcast, and a lot of this right here that I'm going over came from that podcast that I started. Some of it I was already doing, and it gave me a better understanding to start tweaking. But this was one of the biggest takeaways on that. There's a lot of takeaways on the one I listened to, but he said, if you don't know how to use AI, ask AI to teach you how to use it.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, it's just a resource, and there's just no excuse of why you shouldn't be using it.
And he's a perfect example, Dan Martell. If you followed his career, you're on his podcast, he's a perfect example of, he's definitely a smart guy, but he's always one step ahead of people. He's doing it, and he's showing you what he's doing, like how deep he's going. It's like success leaves clues.
Yeah.
He didn't get there because he was always behind the trend. He sees something, and then he goes down on it.
He
doubles down on it.
And this is for a different topic, but on every one of his podcasts, he talks about, because everything's about AI, he's looking for AI founders because he has the opportunity for distribution. So that's why he's got his podcast now. He's building up another level of audience.
Got a coaching thing that he has.
So he has distribution, and he's linking up with these guys that are just, creatively putting all this stuff together. So it's a funnel for opportunity for him, and then he can plug up and get it out to the masses.
I know 2 people in his coaching that's $10,000 a year, and they're like, it's better than like people who do $50,000. But he's giving that value to them, but he's also creating a funnel because both those guys are in that tech space.
He has really good framework. He has really good framework, easy to understand framework, and that's what I love about it. So y'all should go follow him on a podcast because the information is fantastic.
One thing to just take away from this, if you're not sure how to use it, literally just talk to it and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. What are better ways I can use it for my business? This is what's going on in my business. Here's some things I'm struggling with. And then just keep that conversation going with it. It will start to help you lead. It's just an incredible tool.
Absolutely. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Y'all check us out on bluecollarmillionaire.net if you're looking for more ways to plug into what Blue Collar Millionaires got going on.